Hello and welcome to another training video on Radio Workflow. My name is Shane. I'm one of the developers here at Radio Workflow. Now, the goal of today's training is to take you through the traffic system, basically from top to bottom. So at the end of this video, you're going to have a pretty damn good understanding of how to use traffic inside Radio Workflow. Now, one thing you will notice is we're looking at a application here called Workstation. Now, what Workstation is basically just an application that we built that allows Radio Workflow to talk to your desktop, which means you're going to be able to do things like export logs and stuff like that. Also import logs. There's a whole range of things that you can do, including dub. So we do have a dub service. So if your automation system is on our list of supported systems, then you can actually dub your audio directly from Radio Workflow into your on-air system automatically. You can set things like EOM markers and all that type of stuff from within Radio Workflow. Very, very, very cool. Saves a lot of time, especially, if your salespeople are sending you a lot of audio and you're adding them into the system, then you can set that up to automatically dub. Also, don't forget we do have network query as well. And network query, it searches places, basically third-party network services, such as Premier radio networks and stuff like that. And it'll download your spots, but it'll also download the audio if it has access to it. And it can be set up to also automatically dub into your on-air system as well. Going across here, we got our traffic section. So you got your account list, your contract list, your signed contracts, your contract query, also media query, traffic orders, spot library, and network query. And we'll go into all of those sections in more detail as we go through this video. Now, what you will notice down here is I did mention network query, a very, very, very cool feature. What actually happens is if you go into network query and select your third-party network, then you can actually download those things directly into Radio Workflow. Now, I just had to quickly log back in, but here we are back at network query. And now what we're going to do is just select Premier Radio Networks. We select all stations, or you can select just one station, and you select the week here as well. So what it's doing now is it's doing a search for network stuff that needs to be imported. So we can see here there is quite a few items that need to be imported from Premier Radio Networks. So we can just go through that, have a quick look. Obviously, you can set all this up in the settings panel. The link basically to Premier Networks. And you can see down the side here, it's got the imported column. And what it means is when you see this cross here, it means it hasn't actually been imported. And if it hasn't been imported, then it's not going to be scheduled by our traffic engine. So it's very, very, very important to make sure that you check this around Thursday and Friday each week and import any spots that you need to air for the following week. All right, so what we're going to do now is just import those. You'll notice how we haven't actually got the cart ranges set up at the moment for this. So what I'm going to do now is just show you how to do that. We can go in here to settings, and then all we do is go up here to stations, and then we select the station that we want to add, and then we just scroll down and see where it's got cart ranges here. Network query. So it's saying what range of cart numbers do you want to use? So let's use 0 through to 999. And what restriction we want to put on the actual spots as we include them. So we'll put in unrestricted or regular avail, depending on what you want and what category you want them to go into. So if you are using a system such as wide orbit, obviously you can set up your category there. So we don't use categories with our on-air system, so we're just going to leave it as NA, and then we're just going to scroll down and click on Save. So now that we've added those, we can go in and do it to the other station as well, and go here to Range Start, and the same range. And it's going to be the same avail as well. And then we just hit Save. Now what we want to do is go back into Network Query, and we just want to do another another fresh import. So if we go to network query and then to the provider, so let's go Premier Radio Networks again. There's all the spots that we want to import. All we do now is just click on the import button. All right, so there we go. They're imported now. So we can see here that's updated them with all the different, so it's assigned cart numbers, and we can see this column here has been updated to imported. Okay, so now that we have our network stuff imported, what we're going to do is actually focus now on our logs. So if we go across one menu item to daily logs, then you will see commercial logs, clocks and templates, the ability to export logs, and also the ability to import your logs as well. So what we're going to do is just check on our clocks and make sure that they're all in there and they're all correct. So we're just going to scroll down. If you are on natural log, then we most likely have, or if you were on natural log, we have most likely imported your clocks for you. So all you want to do now is just go into each of those clocks and actually just click on the clock that you want to look at or the clock that you want to use, and there it is. Okay, so from here you can do things such as edit the clock. I'm not going to touch on actually editing the clock. I have created another video for that. So if you want to know about how to build your clocks, go over and watch that video. All right, so once we have our clock, what we're going to do now is go to commercial logs, and this is where we're going to actually build our log. So we can see here we do have quite a few logs here built. And what we're going to do now is just build our log for the shore. We're going to make the date the 14th. So let's go to the weekend, and we're just going to use that top clock right there. And then we're going to hit create. So that's going to create our log now and take us through to our log builder. So we can see now that we've got 5 errors on the log at the moment. So we click on that and we can see what errors they are. And this is most likely because this contract has been entered incorrectly. See how it's got unknown spot type? That just means that no spot type has been assigned, which means it can't place it into the log. But if we jump across, say, to the 9 o'clock hour, you will see that, you know, the spots have been scheduled in here. And we can see here that all the cart numbers and stuff are in there as well, which means most of the stuff does actually have a copy assigned to it, which is quite unique to build a clock at this place like that and not have any copy errors at all. But you will notice if you do have copy errors, and you'll see this copy section here, and you'll be able to click on that if it has a number. Then also if any break errors, length errors, etc. come up. Now, obviously, we do support fillers. So at the moment, we only have 1 filler set up in here. That's because we don't actually have any required breaks here at Coastal Broadcasting. But if you did, then you'd be able to place those fillers onto the log. Well, you can actually. We've got 1. So if we were to click on that and then click where we want it to go on the log, then the log is going to move across to that spot break. So you will see it's a filler when you got the, see you got F in brackets here. That just means it's a filler. All right, so if for whatever reason we don't actually want to run those fillers anymore, we can actually just bump any fillers that we've added onto the log. And also, if we want to bump a specific spot or a range of spots, then we can click on that and then click on the bump here. And then it's got the bump this spot. You can bump the account. You can bump the contract line, the revenue type, spot type, length, clash code, and also by rate as well. All right, so if for whatever reason we go in and we make a change to this particular contract and want to try and run it through the placement engine again, then what we can do is just click on this place bumped up here. We can rebuild the log and start fresh if we need to, and we can also lock the log as well. Now we can see up here we've got the bump list. Now you can view the bump list for this log. You can also view the bump list for any other day as well. So if you bump some spots on Wednesday and you want to bring them into this log, then you can do that. Now another way to do that is just through our very unique way of handling make goods. So if we go over here to traffic and administration, and then we go down to bump file, you'll notice that any spots that have been bumped will actually appear in the bump file. So if we just change this date range out to the 1st, perhaps the 1st of November, we should get some bumps. So there we go. So if, for example, I want to make good on this spot here, then I can actually click on it and then click on make good. Now what that does is it allows me to assign a new log date for this particular make good. So let's just say I'm now going to schedule it on December 28th, and we can add in any additional spots that we want to add in as well. So we can see here at the moment it's on 0. Let's just say we want to add in 2 additional spots, and then we can assign a rate to those two extra additional spots as well. So let's just say that we're going to charge $10 per spot. And then all we do is click on create. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because it is going to stuff up our make goods, but that's how you do it. Now, obviously, from here, you can do things like open the contract, you can preview it and stuff like that as well. So once you're done, you do lock your log, and that gives you then an option to export your log to your automation system. So I'm not going to lock that log because then I'll have to unlock it and it'll screw up our copy rotations. But what I am going to do is just click on unreconciled here, and we can basically go into a locked log. So I can show you how that looks. So you'll notice that the side left bar has kind of disappeared. And now we've got some new options here. We can export it. We can download an actual PDF of the log. If we need to get the scripts, then we can click on the Get Scripts button, and it'll go through every single spot that you have on the log and pull out the script for it, and then allow you to download that. And then obviously we've got the view options, and then we have the option to unlock the log as well. Now, if I want to switch over to the other station, then I can do that here. See how we've got 106.3 the shore. But see how it's got create in brackets? That just means that the log itself hasn't been created yet. So we can just click on that and it'll create the log for us using the default clocks that you have set up. Now to set up default clocks, all we do is go down here to settings, and then we go into the stations section, and then we just click on the station there, and then scroll down, and then we can assign those the default clock for each day of the week. So that's how you get your default clocks into the system. What I'm going to do now is keep moving along. Now, if I want to actually export these logs to our on-air system, then I can do that by clicking the export logs. Now, obviously, there is some setup involved with that. You do need to enter in the path in where you want us to actually save the log file. And to do that, all you do is go into settings there and click on stations once again, and then click on the station and then scroll down, and you will see an option here. So the log export location and the automation log location. Okay, moving across, we got our billing options. So we do have our invoice query, so you can go in and create your trial invoices. We do have the option, obviously, then to post your invoices, send them out, and you can also see the history of invoices as well. At any time, I can go into the accounts receivable section, so I can go in and have a look at transactions. Now, one cool thing about Radio Workflow compared to other systems is we do actually have the ability for reps to go in and have a look at the transactions and stuff for their own accounts as well. So they do have access to all of this, but they're only going to see the options for their accounts. And they're also not going to have the option to do things like add payments and create adjustments and stuff like that. So they will purely have read-only access. So there's our transactions. So we actually imported these ones here from Natural Log. And if you are using Natural Log and you want to import, basically all your information, just let us know. All you do is take a backup of your system, and then we just drop it into Radio Workflow for you. Going down, you got your payment section, your credit notes, your debit notes, your finance and commission structures, and then you got dub service. So as I was saying before, you can actually dub audio and stuff like that directly from Radio Workflow into your on-air system if your on-air system supports it. So if you're not sure whether it's supported, just reach out to us here at Radio Workflow and we'll help you get that set up. And then obviously you got your report section, but we're not going to go into too much detail there. But then if we go over here to reports, you will notice, to payments, you will notice you do have actually quite a few options here for detailed formats. So we can see a detailed payments format, a station payment format, etc. Balances, you do also have a bunch of different formats that you can choose for your reports as well. So you got your advertiser single line summary there. Also your detailed transactions list, a station single line summary, and also a transaction / statement discrepancies report. So if we click on that, then we'll be able to see all the payments that have been made, the balances are for each of the stations on that station single line summary. Detailed transactions, so that's where we break it out into more detail for you, so you can see things like how old the account is and when it was due, etc. Now you can click on that, obviously, you can download their statement, or you can actually open their statement and have a look at it here online. Also, what you can actually do is send out the statement directly to the client as well. So left in the billing section is mainly just credit and debit notes, but I'm going to actually create another video because they're worth a whole video on their own. So there we go. That's a basic kind of overview of the traffic system. If you do have any questions, just get in touch with us here at Radio Workflow. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.